Okay, so are you tired of posting amazing content and just hearing crickets? If you're posting into the void, then this is for you. We are going to build a step-by-step system to get your first 1,000 high-quality followers, and we're going to do it without spending a single penny. This isn't about luck. It's about having a real playbook.
You know that feeling, right? That pit in your stomach when you pour hours into a piece of content, you hit publish, and then absolutely nothing. It's what we call the cold start problem, and it's so frustrating because all the typical growth advice just doesn't work when you have zero audience to give you any feedback. Starting from scratch, well, that requires a completely different mindset.
And this right here, this is the huge mind shift we need to make. Standard advice is all about just hoping the algorithm blesses you. This system, it's about generating your own visibility. It's literally the difference between buying a lottery ticket and just hoping for the best versus actually building an engine that runs all on its own. But before we get into the nuts and bolts, the how-to, we've got to get the foundation right. This entire system, this whole engine, is built on two simple, totally non-negotiable rules. Think of these as the guardrails that make sure you're building a real, sustainable following, not just chasing empty numbers. The two rules are simple, but they're incredibly powerful. First, $0, period. No ads, no fancy tools. Why? Because this forces you to build a system that actually works on its own merit, not one that's just propped up by cash. And second, no fakes, no engagement pods, no buying followers. This is all about making sure you're attracting real people who could one day become your customers, not just bots to make a number go up. These rules are your quality filter from day one.
All right, so here's the game plan. This is our roadmap. First, we're going to craft your one-sentence promise. Then we'll build a profile that actually turns visitors into followers. Next, we'll build the discovery engine that brings the right kind of people to you. And finally, we'll put it all together with a 30-day action plan and show you exactly how to measure what truly matters. Let's get into it.
All right, let's dive in. First things first, you have to get laser focused on who you're here to help and what specific value you offer them. This is the bedrock of the entire system. Remember, if you try to be for everyone, you'll end up being for no one. Okay, this is so important, and it's something most people completely miss. Getting the wrong people to see your posts can actually hurt your account. It teaches the algorithm that your content isn't very engaging, which just crushes your future reach. So the goal isn't to be seen by everyone. It's to be found by the right people. So how do you actually do this? Well, it's a super simple three-part formula. First, be incredibly specific about who you serve. Second, clearly state the result or the transformation they can expect from you. And finally, tell them how you're going to deliver it. When you get this clear, following you becomes a total no-brainer. Check this out. This is a perfect example of that formula in action. I mean, look how specific that is. You immediately know who it's for, local service businesses, and you know the promised outcome, drives weekly inquiries. For any visitor who fits that description, this is an instant, yes, this is for me. Okay, so you've got this amazing, crystal clear promise. Now, where does it go? Well, it goes right on your profile, which is basically your digital storefront. And it needs to be optimized to turn every single one of those visits into a follow. Just think of your bio as your 150-character elevator pitch. It really only needs to do two things. State that promise we just talked about and add a signal of proof. That proof could be your years of experience, the number of clients you've helped, maybe a key result you've achieved. The whole goal is to build trust in a matter of seconds. Oh, this is such a brilliant strategy. Instead of just a random collection of posts, think of your pinned posts as a mini welcome tour for new visitors. The first one explains your promise. The second one proves you can solve their problem, and the third one gives them a quick, tangible win. In just 3 posts, you can take someone from a curious visitor to a brand new follower. All right, now we get to the real engine room of this whole system. You've got your promise, your profile's optimized. Now, how in the world do we get the right people to actually see it? This is where we stop just creating and hoping, and we start distributing our work and causing our own discovery. This right here is the absolute game changer. You have to get this in your head. At the beginning, your content has basically zero reach. The shortcut is to go where your ideal followers already hang out. You need to build a bridge from their communities straight to your profile. You're not starting from zero, you're just getting introduced. And we're not talking about leaving those useless, great post comments. No way. This is a repeatable formula for adding so much value that people are basically compelled to click on your profile.
You agree to build rapport, you add a useful tip to show your expertise, and you use a quick story to build credibility. It's like a mini consulting session right there in a single comment.
Okay, here's another super powerful tactic. It's called question capture. It's so simple. Just go to the search bar on whatever platform you're on and start typing a question your customers would ask. The autocomplete suggestions that pop up, those aren't just ideas, that is a direct feed of what people are actively searching for. So create content that answers those exact questions.
Okay, a strategy is great, but it's useless if you don't actually do it. So let's break this all down into a super simple 30-day action plan with a clear daily and weekly schedule. This is how you really make it happen. Think of this as your daily workout. 3 simple, non-negotiable actions. First, publish one piece of content that reinforces your promise. Second, spend a few minutes on discovery, leaving those high-value comments. And third, build relationships by responding to every single comment you get. That's it. Simple, repeatable, and incredibly effective. Then, on top of those daily habits, you're going to stack 4 power plays each week. 1 collab outreach to tap into another creator's audience, 1 piece of pillar content, your best stuff, to get those valuable saves, 1 hour of research to really understand your audience, and 1 quick profile refresh to make sure it's always optimized. This is how you go from slow growth to really accelerating it. All right, so you're doing all this work. How do you actually know if the engine is running properly? Well, you have to ignore all the usual vanity metrics like likes and focus on the data that shows you the real health of the system. Let's look at how to diagnose and optimize your progress. Okay, let's do a quick diagnostic test. Say your profile visits are going up, people are clicking on your profile, so the discovery work is paying off, but your follower count is totally flat. What's going on? Well, the fix is actually pretty simple, and it points right back to the system we've been building. The problem isn't your discovery work. The problem is what happens when people land on your profile. You either need to strengthen your promise in the bio, or you need to improve your pinned posts to show them exactly why they should stick around. So please, for now, just forget about likes. Forget about the total follower count. These 3 things, this is what tells you the real story. Your conversion rate, that tells you if your promise is working. Saves and shares tell you if your content is genuinely useful. And repeat commenters, that's the very first sign that you're building a real community. And let's wrap up with this one big idea. The whole goal of getting your first 1,000 followers isn't just to hit some random number. It's to build your first ever hyper-relevant focus group. These are the people who will tell you what they need, what they value, and where your business should go next. So stop chasing a metric and start listening to the audience you're building. What are they trying to tell you?